The illusion of progress. Are we really moving forward? Have you ever wondered why, despite our incredible technology and constant innovations, happiness and meaning seem increasingly out of reach? What if the progress we've been chasing is actually a distraction, an illusion hiding a deeper truth? In this video, we're diving beneath the surface of modern life, confronting the uncomfortable questions we've ignored for too long. Get ready, this isn't about finding quick answers, but about awakening to what truly matters. 1. The uneasy comfort. We live in a world of incredible comfort, unmatched convenience, and extraordinary innovation. First glance, humanity appears to be thriving. Diseases that once ravaged generations are now mere footnotes in history books. Communication barriers that once separated us across continents now dissolve with a simple tap. Our devices promise connection, empowerment, and endless opportunities at our fingertips. Yet despite these dazzling advances, beneath this polished surface lies an unsettling discomfort, a nagging unease that quietly permeates our collective consciousness. Why, in an era defined by unprecedented advancement, do we feel so deeply incomplete? We've mastered the art of living faster, achieving more, and accumulating endlessly. But we haven't learned how to sit with ourselves quietly, how to be truly content, or how to genuinely connect with the person right beside us. Our technology has solved countless practical problems, yet has left untouched the emotional void that technology alone cannot heal. Nietzsche warned us, "When you gaze long into an abyss, the abyss gazes also into you." Perhaps we've spent too long staring into screens, mirrors of endless possibilities that reflect not our true selves, but idealized personas, superficial aspirations, and perpetual dissatisfaction. The more connected we become online, the more isolated we feel in reality. As if modern life is a grand paradox, every step forward in technological progress seems accompanied by a subtle step backward in human fulfillment. Consider how productivity has become an obsession, a badge of honor we proudly display. To be busy is praised as a virtue. To slow down or pause is viewed almost as a form of surrender or weakness. But what happens when this relentless pursuit leaves us exhausted, overwhelmed, and increasingly disconnected from what truly matters? Burnout, anxiety, depression, these have quietly become the epidemics of our age, hidden behind the golden facade of endless productivity. Carl Jung introduced the concept of the shadow, the parts of ourselves we prefer not to acknowledge, the fears and insecurities we mask behind our confident and polished outward appearance. Our modern comfort has its own shadow, the hollow emptiness that arises from our persistent refusal to look inward. We numb ourselves with constant distraction, scrolling through feeds filled with polished images of lives we don't live, dreams we can't fulfill, and standards we can't sustain. Yet we scroll on, caught in a cycle of temporary gratification followed by deeper despair. The problem isn't technology itself. The problem lies in our unquestioning faith in its promise to satisfy our deepest human needs. We have willingly bought into the illusion that external achievement status, wealth, likes, followers equate to genuine progress. But real progress isn't found in what we gain externally. It's measured by the peace we feel internally. It's discovered not through rapid acceleration, but through quiet contemplation. Not in chasing the newest thing, but in understanding what we already have. This unease we feel isn't random. It's a sign, a quiet whisper from deep within, telling us that perhaps we've misunderstood what advancement really means. Our discomfort signals that something critical is missing, something technology alone cannot supply, meaning purpose, genuine human connection. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." Perhaps our discomfort arises precisely because we've forgotten this fundamental truth. We've been chasing external solutions to internal problems. We've placed our faith in endless growth while neglecting the quiet wisdom that comes from stillness, reflection, and genuine human connection. We stand at a crossroads. Do we continue to chase illusions dressed up as progress, or do we dare to pause and question the path we're on? The discomfort we feel isn't accursed, it's a call to awareness, a gentle, but persistent invitation to slow down and reconnect with the core of what makes us truly human. Perhaps true comfort isn't found in having more, but in needing less. Perhaps genuine progress begins when we stop measuring life by speed and start measuring it by depth. Perhaps our greatest advancement awaits us, not in the technology we build, but in the consciousness we cultivate. The unease we feel is not an enemy to silence. It's a friend asking quietly, persistently, is this truly the way forward, or have we missed the point entirely? 2. The golden mirror. There is a mirror we hold in front of ourselves, an exquisitely polished golden mirror, shimmering with promises. It shows us the image we have come to worship, a collective portrait of advancement, power, and endless potential. Every new invention, every breakthrough, every speed conquered is carefully reflected back as proof of our forward motion. Technology and science have become our new prophets. Their gospel is one of perpetual improvement, limitless connection, and supreme convenience. Yet, like every reflection, this image is only skin deep. Carl Jung spoke of the persona, the mask we wear to present ourselves to the world. Progress, too, wears its own persona. A brilliant and seductive facade crafted from the materials of our greatest hopes and aspirations. It tells us we have conquered nature, mastered our own destiny, and risen above our ancestors. But what lies beneath this mask? What does progress conceal, even as it reveals? Behind the golden mirror stands the shadow we refuse to acknowledge, the anxieties, the loneliness, the emptiness we often feel but rarely admit. We have built networks that connect billions, yet never before have so many felt so utterly isolated. We have developed technologies that prolong life, yet we live those lives in perpetual hurry and distraction. The promise of infinite knowledge lies within our reach, yet wisdom seems more elusive than ever. Nietzsche warned that when we stare too long into the abyss stares back, perhaps even more dangerously, when we gaze too long into our own flattering reflection. We forget the existence of the abyss entirely. The persona of progress tricks us into believing that to question the mirror is to deny our own success. And so, we remain entranced, locked in a cycle of self-congratulation, blind to the deeper truth. We have constructed archetypes of modernity that reinforce this illusion. The digital savior, who promises that every problem can be solved by an app. The eternal worker, always available, always productive, always just one email away from fulfillment. The programmed optimist, convinced that happiness is just around the next corner of innovation. These archetypes sustain the illusion that everything is improving, even as our hearts and minds quietly tell a different story. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." His words invite us to step back from our fascination with appearances and look critically at the reflection before us. Perhaps real advancement isn't measured by how rapidly we build towers into the sky, but how deeply we understand ourselves. Perhaps the mirror doesn't show progress at all, perhaps it only shows our desire to be seen as progressive. Breaking free from the persona requires a courageous act of consciousness. It demands that we turn from the golden mirror and face the shadows that stand quietly behind us, waiting patiently to be recognized. Only by acknowledging what we have ignored can we begin the journey from hollow illusion toward authentic, meaningful advancement. 3. The cycle disguised as a straight line, in the quiet corners of our minds. We secretly suspect a truth we rarely dare admit. We re-not moving forward, we re-moving in circles. Like weary travelers lost in a desert, we mistake familiarity for progress, comforting ourselves with the idea that every turn brings something new. But beneath each step lies the faint imprint of our previous footprints. The landscapes change, but our journey remains hauntingly the same. Nietzsche called it the eternal recurrence, the thought that life might be an endless repetition. Each generation reliving the illusions and anxieties of the last, yet we rarely acknowledge this idea openly, because admitting the possibility terrifies us. Instead, we cloak repetition in fresh language, new technology, and modern disguises. Yesterday's isolation becomes today's digital solitude. Past centuries' exploitation returns disguised as contemporary economic realities. Old prejudices resurface beneath modern phrases and politically correct slogans. We proclaim that we have transcended wars, poverty, and injustice. while the same struggles simply adapt to our modern sensibilities, changing costumes, but never their essence. Kierkegaard captured our existential dilemma when he said, "Life can only be understood backwards. It must be lived forwards." And this paradox traps us, forever moving forward, but understanding only in retrospect the endless loops in which we spin. Anxiety arises not just from uncertainty about the future, but from the subtle suspicion that the future may already be written by the repetitions of our past. We've inherited narratives of linear progress, of relentless forward motion toward a utopia just out of reach. But these narratives ignore the cyclical rhythms that quietly shape our lives, the inevitable rise and fall, the recurring crises, and the unchanging nature of our deepest human struggles. The very tools we develop to escape our past often entangle us further within it. Social media promised connection, yet deepened isolation. Economic growth promised abundance, yet deepened inequality. Technological advancement promised freedom, yet created dependence. Progress, when defined as mere movement forward, blinds us to these repetitive patterns we must face to truly advance. Perhaps progress isn't about moving forward at all, but about stepping off this endless wheel to confront the uncomfortable questions at its center. Perhaps real advancement begins the moment we realize we've been here before and choose differently. Real progress requires not just movement, but awakening. 4. The shadow of progress. Behind every glowing facade lies a shadow, quietly mirroring the parts of ourselves and society that we refuse to see. Carl Jung described this shadow as the hidden, unconscious aspects we bury beneath our carefully constructed personas. Collectively, we bear the shadow of progress, the side effects, consequences, and ignored truths quietly accumulating behind our brightly lit stages of achievement. We celebrate speed, convenience, and power, while quietly overlooking the cost. We herald technological breakthroughs, but turn our eyes away from mountains of digital waste, toxic pollution, and oceans choking on our discarded conveniences. The shadow grows unnoticed behind every screen, every click, every fleeting moment of supposed connection. It thrives on our unwillingness to confront what we have neglected, accumulating silently until it can no longer remain hidden. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Yet we repeatedly fail to grasp this wisdom. Instead of confronting our obstacles directly, we push them further into darkness, denying their existence. But shadows never disappear. They grow in strength until we face them. Environmental decay, persistent inequalities, unchecked anxieties are not anomalies. They are symptoms of progress that refuse to acknowledge its own limits and shadows. Psychologically, our collective shadow manifests as restlessness, emptiness, and the growing sense of disconnection we feel despite unprecedented connectivity. We numb ourselves with entertainment, consumption, and shallow pleasures, perpetuating the illusion of satisfaction. But beneath this numbing, something deeper stirs, quiet discomfort signaling that something vital has been lost or forgotten. The irony is clear. In chasing the idea of progress, we have, in many ways, regressed. We've forgotten how to live simply, slowly, meaningfully. We've traded silence for constant noise, peace for constant motion. Our so-called advancement has become a paradox. The more connected we are technologically, the less we connect humanly. This shadow is not our enemy, it is our guide, Jung said. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. It is time we listen. It is time to step bravely into this shadow, acknowledge what lies there, and reclaim the parts of our humanity lost in our rush forward. Only then, by confronting what we've hidden, can we transform superficial progress into genuine growth. 5. Awakening from the illusion. Every illusion eventually fades, often not with a dramatic revelation, but with the quiet clarity of awakening from a dream. The first moments are unsettling. Familiar comforts vanish, leaving behind a strange emptiness, an open space once filled by unquestioned assumptions. This awakening marks the critical moment when we first realize progress may not be linear. It may not be measured in speed, numbers, or endless forward motion. It is a realization that progress might, in fact, demand an entirely new direction. True awakening requires courage, for it means turning away from familiar paths and comfortable lies. It means facing the fragments of a reality we've long ignored, much like a man who abandons a smooth, polished mirror to finally confront a broken, imperfect reflection, one that reveals every scar, every flaw, every truth. This fractured image doesn't offer easy answers, yet it's undeniably authentic. It shows us who we are, not who we pretend to be. Jung called this awakening individuation, the lifelong journey toward integrating all parts of ourselves, including the hidden, rejected, and suppressed. Individuation is not about achieving perfection, but authenticity. Similarly, societal progress requires collective individuation, a willingness to see clearly the consequences of our choices and the shadows they cast. Perhaps real progress involves recognizing that we have misunderstood advancement itself. It involves not rushing faster, but slowing down to question the path we're on. Maybe the measure of advancement is not technological supremacy or boundless convenience, but awareness, clarity, and the courage to admit that we must first look inward if we wish to truly move forward. Nietzsche once wrote, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." The question we now face is whether our current path provides us with a meaningful why. Has our endless striving brought us closer to genuine meaning, happiness, and human connection, or has it only deepened our confusion, our alienation? It is time to awaken not to greater velocity, but to deeper consciousness. To awaken from the illusion means confronting the paradox we've built around ourselves, a world where everything seems within reach, yet satisfaction remains forever elusive. It means redefining progress from a hollow race forward to a conscious journey inward. 6. The new measure of progress. Perhaps progress was never meant to be about endless accumulation, ceaseless acceleration, or the frantic chase for external validation. Perhaps we've misunderstood what it truly means to advance. What if the next step humanity must take is not forward, but inward? Progress isn't simply having more. It's becoming more whole. It isn't about how fast we reach our goals, but about the quality of our presence along the journey. Marcus Aurelius captured this insight centuries ago when he reminded himself to focus on the present moment, the only time we truly possess. His words echo across millennia, calling us not outward, but deeper into ourselves. The illusion we've chased has been rooted in empty metrics. Economic growth without fairness. Technological advancement without meaning. Connectivity without genuine connection. But true advancement is measured not by data alone, rather by the depth of our relationships. The sincerity of our compassion and the clarity of our consciousness. We need new measures that value humanity above efficiency, wisdom above knowledge, and balance above speed. Imagine a future where success is defined not by how quickly we move, but by how thoughtfully we move, not by how much we produce, but by how harmoniously we coexist. Imagine a society built not on the superficiality of appearances, but on the solidity of inner truth, authenticity, and self-awareness. Carl Jung insisted that meaningful change occurs only through facing ourselves honestly. Nietzsche urged us to create values born from authenticity, not conformity. Together, they offer a compelling vision of real progress, one that embraces complexity, ambiguity, and reflection, rather than simplistic solutions and empty promises. The true measure of our advancement lies not in conquering outer worlds, but in understanding our inner world. It is time to redefine progress, not as a destination, but as a state of being aware, integrated, authentic. It is time to step away from the frantic race towards superficial achievements and move toward a deeper, quieter kind of growth, one rooted in consciousness, purpose, and genuine connection. This shift won't happen easily or overnight. It begins quietly within each of us. The moment we question the illusion we've accepted for too long, progress is no longer an endless march forward. It's a conscious, courageous step inward towards ourselves, towards each other, and ultimately towards a richer, more meaningful human existence. We move forward not by outrunning our shadows, but by embracing them. That is the true measure of progress. If this message spoke to you, please consider giving the video a like. It helps more than you know. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content like this, and leave a comment below sharing what resonated with you most. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for being here. Truly.